Heaven high. Welcome to Inside of a Miracle. I'm your host, Sheila Martin Askew. And I just wanted to say it's been a privilege and a pleasure to be able to be in your homes week in and week out on a weekly basis. It has really been a blessing to me, and I'm hoping it's been a blessing to you. If you've been blessed by this program thus far, won't you consider reaching out to me at the website down below? I'd love to hear from you. Give me your prayer requests. If you have any questions about anything that you've heard, my aim is to bring about transformation in your mind and in your thinking, help you to visualize or see something totally different, to bring awareness of something that you've not seen or not heard that you need for that day or that moment. I believe that God always has a right now word for right now when you need it. And you never know when you're going to find it. It's like the Forrest Gump movies. Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. Well, I believe that some things are predictable. God is predictable. You can count on Him to give you wisdom, to give you understanding, to give you insight, to give you encouragement, to lift you up, to be there for you. I believe in miracles. That's why this program is named Inside of a Miracle. I'm reminded of a time when I was in Indonesia and I was praying for a huge group of people. It was masses of people. And I shared the love of Christ and just shared about Jesus and shared my testimonies about miracles that I have received myself. And I lifted up my hands and I just stretched them out and I just prayed for the crowd and asked the Lord to bless and to heal and to encourage and to deliver. Well, God really moved in that prayer, just that simple prayer. Of course, I can't pray for thousands and thousands of people at one time, one on one, but that prayer really did some wonderful miracles. People got out of wheelchairs, deaf ears were open, um, limbs grew out, just wonderful things. And as we were going back in the back of the stadium, a lady she ran up to me, really. I had the interpreters with me and some of the guards. And she ran up and they tried to stop her. And I said, no, it's okay. And she had this baby and I'm looking at this beautiful baby, oh, with curly black hair and beautiful brownish eyes with long lashes. And the baby's just looking up at me and she's speaking in some language and they're trying to get her to calm down. And and I'm looking at her nodding, yes, beautiful baby, I figured she was blind and, because she kept pointing to her eyes and I'm thinking, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm doing like that. And then she was just undone. She just would not be quieted. So I quieted the scene down, asked my interpreter to tell me what she's saying word for word. So she starts telling him something and he's going, what? What? And he's shaking his head and he's jumping up and down. And okay, I still don't know what's going on. Long story short, the baby was not only blind, the baby did not have any cornea or retina. And I am looking at this beautiful baby with brownish eyes and the longest eyelashes you had ever seen. Maybelline, the mascara company, would have been outdone. That baby's eyes were gorgeous. And the fact that not only did God give the baby sight, God created new pupils, retinas, and corneas, and added eyelashes because she said that the baby was born with just the sockets and she was a cursed baby and how she suffered. That baby was about 18 months old at the time. Those are the miracles that I have witnessed in the 49 years that I have been doing this and serving and traveling the world. I believe in miracles. And if you need a miracle, you need prayer, you need encouragement, reach out to me. I'd love to reach out back to you. So, today we're going to talk about words, the power of words. Did you know that the words that we speak are so powerful? I mean, I guess you probably do know, but sometimes people don't realize. Words can hurt and words can help. Bad words can hurt and good words can heal. You ever heard that adage that they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me? Well, I've heard it too. But let me tell you, that's not true. Words do hurt. Stick you can hold. Stones you can hold and throw. But words is an intangible substance, a cosmic moving, an energy that you cannot touch, but it can be felt and it can pierce the heart of everybody who hears a word. Take for example, growing up, if you're if someone's been told, oh, you're gonna be just like your father, you're gonna be just like your parent, you're never gonna mount up to anything, your elevator doesn't go all the way up to the top, you're never gonna make it, you can't do that, you'll never succeed, you're always gonna be this, you're always gonna be that, uh, words like that, they affect the child growing up. And when we become adults, those words still have the power to affect. God created the world in 6 days. When He said, let there be, He said, let there be in such a way that the universe is still going forth with those words. Did you know that the universe is still growing? There's still more galaxies and universes happening. Scientists will tell you that the speed of light is still going. From the time He said, let there be, it has been going on. Words are a powerful force. And once they're put out there, they keep going. Hence the reason why, as a child, we're spoken. If we're being affirmed, those words come into our adult life because they're energy. They're substance, an intangible substance that we don't recognize, but we feel the effects. If you've had negative words, or if you've known someone that has had negative words spoken to them over their lives, when they grow up, it's still going forward. If a child is heard that they can't do anything, or they have a mental disease, or they're never going to amount in school, teachers tell them you just can't learn, send in the back of the class. Well, if they believe that, if they take that in, they'll grow up thinking that they can never really achieve anything academically because of what we're saying. Words can hurt or words can heal. So my question today is, what has your word done today? What has your words done today? And let's just say your first thing in the morning. I don't know when you're watching this program, but if you can't remember right now, what did your words do yesterday? What did your words do to somebody yesterday? What words came out of your mouth that affected somebody? Was there a good morning? Was there hello? What words did you say? Do you know once those words come out of our mouths, we cannot take them back. We can correct them, we can modify them, but we cannot change what was said. That's the power of words. There's such a power. The Bible says in Proverbs 18:21, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it eat the fruit thereof. What is it that they love? It is the words. They that love the words, they that love the power of it. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it, the words that we speak, whether it's life or death, will eat the fruit of it. If they're life words, we'll eat the fruit of that. If they're death words, we will eat the fruit of that. We can't get around talking. Someone asked me a question once about that scripture. Well, what happens if someone is mute? Okay, they cannot speak. Did you know that When people sign, that is a communicative gesture that people who understand signs can understand. And they can, I don't sign, but my sister does. And other people do. If you sign, or you know people who sign, you know that they can use gestures to make their words emphatic, um, results, resolute, um, powerful. They can know how to put the emphasis on the words by their hand gestures. That word is those words, though they're not vocal, they're still expressive. Like a child. You get a child and they're going, hmm, hmm, hmm. No words. You get a 1 year old and they're not and they got a way of showing you without words that they're not happy. Or they got a way of showing you with words that they are happy. No words. It doesn't make the difference whether the words are vocal. It's the communicative ability to speak what we're saying. They're not speaking syllables, they're speaking words. Those sign languages, those signing produces letters that produce words that are understood in whatever language it is. So it still does not take away from the power of it. So it doesn't matter whether someone has a voice to speak it or they sign it. They know how to communicate. If you can communicate to another person what you're saying, we are bound by it and we will eat the fruits of those words. That's what's so powerful. Sometimes we take for granted just the simple gestures of kindness. We withhold good mornings and hellos on the bus or the tram or the tube. You're on the tube and we know how to give eye contact and nod, and we know how to smile at somebody. We don't know them, but we know how to smile. Those are still communicative words, a way of communicating. But if someone smiled at you and you just kind of turned your head, or someone waved at you and you just, okay, you spoke something, you communicated something, that counts because that person either felt slighted, embarrassed, belittled, invisible, or if you saw somebody on the street and they did something wonderful, you gave them a thumbs up. You didn't say anything, but the thumbs up is communicated to some countries as well done. We applaud. It's universal. Well done. Bravo. Good work. Our smiling and doing this or whatever we do, it's communicated to well done. Good job. So there's no getting around it. Words are powerful, but the ones that we speak out of our mouth that carry the voice, that's the most powerful ones. And there was a Solomon. He was the wisest man on the earth at that time, and he wrote a book called Proverbs. And he said one of the things he said is, if a person never opens their mouth, no one will know what's in it. Meaning to say, a fool is considered wise if they don't open their mouth. Sometimes it's just best just to listen more and speak less. People don't know what you don't know, but sometimes we don't know what we don't know. So sometimes being quiet is the best way to keep what you don't know, what you don't feel comfortable in communicating. I am a stickler of trying to communicate words that express what I'm really trying to say. And I will, a lot of times when I'm counseling with people, um, or in different venues where I'm being expressive and what I'm going to say is going to matter, like now, I intentionally try to use words to say exactly what I mean or close to what I am intending to say. Instead of just flippantly saying, um, you know, go over there, and someone says, I don't know what you mean. And you say, instead of saying, would you go over to that chair and sit down? You're in a customer service relationship and you're at a place and they just say, go over there. You're going to ask, what is that? What do you mean go over there? And then they say, go sit in that chair. And then you say, well, you didn't say that. And then the person says, well, you know what I mean. Everybody doesn't know what everybody means. And so I don't assume that people understand what I am saying unless I can say it in a way that I can stand by and say, yes, I said that. That's what I meant. You might have heard this, but my meaning, I tried to be clear. So communication is very important. Now, speaking about the power of words, did you know that our body is made up of water? Our cells, our tissues, and our organs. We have so much water in our body. A child has 75%, their body's made up of 75% of water. An adult is 60% of water. Elderly person is about 50% of water. And so when we speak, our words and words spoken to us reverberate into our bodies. That's why people tell you when, um, when you're down or out, speak to yourself, encourage yourself. Um, when you're in a situation when people are having habits or addictions, they're told to, say affirmative words. I am strong. I I am strong. I can have self control. I have self control. I am strong. I am wise. I am intelligent. Speak affirming words that helps with those situations. Have you ever taken a glass of water and if you put it on the table and you shake it, of course the water is going to shake because it's living. It's living. But if you bow down and you speak or yell into that water, the water will vibrate because our words are forceful. They have a power to them. It is so. It's a medical fact. Um, there was a study done in Sweden with college and high schools. Back during that time, Sweden had a high dropout rate, and their colleges and high schools had a high suicide rate. Sweden is normally 9 months year winter, and so people were getting depressed and suicidal. The dropout rate and the suicide rate was so advanced and alarming that some scientists decided to show an experiment and with the power of words. And what they were directed to do was the students were asked to take 3 jars and put water in it and put a top on it, and take another 3 jars. So you got 6 jars. 3 jars, put water in it and put a top on it. Another 3 jars, put water in and put a top on it. The first 3 jars, you just speak to the jars and say, you're bad. You're not good. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to make it. You're stupid. You're ugly. And do that for a month. And then speak to the other 3 jars. You're good. You're beautiful. I love you. You're going to make great things happen. And they could speak whatever they wanted to speak. One group, they had to speak bad things, and the other group had to speak good things. And that was it for a month. Then they were asked to bring the jars in because they labeled the ones and they had to write on a piece of paper on tape what some of the things that they said on those jars. So they bring them into the school. The scientists take them back. A couple of weeks later, what the scientists did, they took the water that was in the jars and they froze them. And then they cut them in slices and put them on a microscope. And under the microscope, the water that was spoken to, that was frozen and sliced, under the microscope, the waters that were spoken to bad had deformed in such ways that they said it was hideous. The way it had deformed and just crustated. It was just, they could see it under the microscope. Compared to the water that was frozen, that words were spoken goodly of under the microscope, they said that it was transformative. It, the water crystals looked like kaleidoscope, looked like diamonds. They looked like snowflakes, and they had crystallized in such beautiful designs. It was as big. It was as visible as night and day. Water can be visibly seen from words, like people talk to their plants. It's not so much the air that we give in and the air that we receive, it's also those words. You talk to a pet, they're more loving when you speak words of goodness instead of words of get away from me, instead of come here, boy, or a cat, or you purr them. When you're purring them, when you're stroking them, they're purring. These are words, the communications. But think about it. These water jars, good and bad was spoken over them, and they could be visibly seen. My point is this: our bodies are so many percentage of water. Kids are 75% water. Adults are 60% of water, and the elderly is 50% of water. We're speaking to our bodies, or we're being spoken to. Words come to us. They affect our bodies. People can be sick, depressed, suicidal because of the words spoken. The result of that test in Sweden was once those students in college that participated in it, and it was 1,000 of them, in college and in high school in this particular school in Sweden, when they saw that, their whole outlook changed and they saw the power of words, the power that they were saying to themselves, I'm ugly, I'm invisible, nobody wants me, nobody likes me, I'll never be nothing in school. All the things that they were saying to make themselves commit suicide or consider suicide, the dropout rate, they dropped out because they didn't think they could learn. They didn't think they were smart enough. The re-enrollment doubled, the graduation doubled. These kids that were in high school that would have normally dropped out or committed suicide went to high school, went to college, and graduated. And the ones who left college went back, finished their degrees, and went back out into the world. Words matter. Words matter. What are you saying to yourself today? Have you looked in the mirror and said, oh, I don't look right? People have such a hard way of thinking about how they look. I mean, identity crisis of how we look, facial wise, body wise. Some people want curly hair, they got straight. Some people want straight hair, they got curly. Some people want pink hair, they got blue. Some people got black hair, they want blonde. Nobody's ever seemingly confident or comfortable in who you are. All of that is good. Blue hair, pink hair, yellow hair, no hair. All that's good. But what you say to yourself is, oh, I have rainbow hair. I look good. I like this. Oh, I'm bald. Oh, I look good in this. You have to encourage yourself and speak words that affirm who you are. If you don't know how to do that, there's a way to learn. And one of the ways to learn is number one, stop talking the crazy stuff. Stop talking the words that hurt. If you are on your job and someone says, you're not going to get a promotion, you can never do this right. Here, take this report and do it again. Or take this, you're on the assembly line, take this and do it over again. And you see everybody else seemingly, oh, you're doing a good job, Sally, but Susie, she doesn't know what she's doing. I don't know why she even got a job here. Susie is going to feel bad. Sally's going to feel good. Eventually, Susie, if she doesn't get enough affirmation, Susie will leave and Sally will probably leave too, because then Sally knows that she can do better than that job. Because affirmation helps you develop to know that you can do more than where you are. That's forward motion, and that's the power of affirmation. But if you're hearing bad things come to you from the outside, and you're yet saying that to yourself, that's a double negative. It's hard to recover from that unless we can't always stop or control what people say to us. We can remove ourselves from negative spaces, yes, but we can definitely control what we say to us. What you say to you is the most important, powerful thing. What others say to us on the outside can be eradicated, dissipated, dissolved by what we say. If someone says, oh, you're never going to make it, You know, people would tell me, I can't believe you were going overseas like this, going to jungles and tying yourself in trees and being shot at and this and that. Why don't you? This is not wise. Why are you doing this? You know, I would say, God is my protector. I'm being sent to speak the good news of God. I am protected in everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, people are happy to see me, and I'm happy to see them. I would speak to myself about myself going to these dangerous places to counteract what was said to me so that I won't be freaking out. It works. I'm a witness. The power of words is the most glorious thing that God has given us. God said, let there be, and they're still going. He created us with the ability to speak those words. That's why we got two ears. We got two sets of ears. We got the outer ear and we got the inner ear. The outer ear is what people hear, what you hear from people. But the inner ear is what you hear yourself saying, like a recorder. You hear yourself on a tape recorder, you don't think that sounds like you to you. But to others, people know that that sounds like you to them. People know that. So God has been a great God and a great way of doing things. So I just want to encourage you to know that anything you're trying to do, God knows how to counteract that. God knows how to stop it. Right now, I just want to pray for you, and I just say, Father, I pray that the listening audience will know the power of words. And as we continue on this study, they will come to know all that you are and all that you can do. In Jesus' name I pray.